Good morning, bright and early. Welcome to this edition of the Breakfast Club, viewers. I'm Kritsween Valia, and as we continue diving into the colourful joy of Navratri with its vibrant dances, energetic garbas and late-night celebrations this morning, we'll also take a moment to talk about something a little less colourful but just as important, our children's spines. You heard that right. In a world where screens are everywhere, from online classes to mobile games, the little ones are spending more time hunched over than ever before. This constant downward posture has given rise to what's now commonly known as tech neck. It's a growing concern that affects the spine, the posture, even overall health of children. So we'll start with that all-important discussion with top health professionals joining us this morning, and then we'll take you through all that's trending across the country and around the world, the festivities that continue on Navami today. With that, wishing you a happy Navami. Let's start with the big story. We're going to be shifting our focus towards for a little while. The next few minutes, we're going to be talking about how we all know our kids spend hours glued to their gadgets like phones, tablets, laptops, etc., whether it's for online classes, gaming, or just scrolling through reels. But what we often miss is what those hours are doing to their backs. That slouch they sit in, that head tilted down for hours. It's not just a posture problem anymore. In some cases, it could be hiding a more serious spinal condition, one that develops without pain and often goes unnoticed till it's much harder to treat. We're talking about problems like scoliosis, a sideways curvature of the spine that affects a surprising number of children and teens in our country and across the world. It's often mistaken for a bad sitting habit, but the signs are there: uneven shoulders, tilted head, one side of the waist curving in more than the other. In a world where tech posture is already straining young spines, those signs can get ignored, and that's exactly what we're going to be warning you against. To take this conversation forward, we're being joined by Dr. Saurabh Mangal, the Director of Health Sense Physio and Wellness Clinic. He's going to be talking about what really can you do, how do you really go about that correct posture, and much more. Good morning, Dr. Saurabh. Dr. Simon Thomas, Senior Director of Robotic Joint Replacements and Orthopaedics at Max Super Speciality Hospital, is our second guest joining us this morning. Let's begin with Dr. Saurabh first. Dr. Saurabh, you know, for anyone who's watching this, who's wondering what can we do the right way to really ensure that our child doesn't reach a problem where they're going to have to reach out to a physio for help, what would you suggest? Let's begin with that positive thought, that positive conversation of what exactly should children do while they're tuned into their gadgets or television sets. Tell us about that correct posture first.
Okay, let's talk about the correct posture first. The correct posture, our spine is made up with a beautiful S curve, where our neck is made with this posture straight, and our back is also straight, and lower back is also there. A slight curve is there. So it is made up of a beautiful S size curvature. But when the people are sitting, especially I will talk about the children today. So when someone like a toddler or an adolescent or a youngster, they are sitting right now nowadays with lots of mostly having the gadgets in their hands, mobiles, iPads, and playing games. So because of this, they are mostly slouched. So okay, let's take an example for this. Our head weight is mostly it is around 4 to 5 kgs. So let's talk in Hindi because I want to reach to maximum people. अगर 4 से 5 किलो का लोड अगर मैं किसी भी तरह की एक स्ट्रेट स्टिक के ऊपर if I'll put it, so it will take the stick like this. So same is happening with the spine. जब कोई सारा दिन बैठ के like they are watching the mobile or they are watching the iPad, so उनका neck का जो normal curvature है वो खराब होता है. Then ऊपर thorax यानी upper back का curvature खराब होता है. Then lower back gets flattened also. But हम घर पे क्या होता है कि पेरेंट्स आर नॉट अवेयर ऑफ द गुड पोस्चर. बच्चे साइडवेज भी बैठे होते हैं, बच्चे आगे करके भी बैठे होते हैं, कुछ बच्चे उल्टा लेट के भी देखते हैं, कुछ बच्चे साइडवेज भी अपना फोन लेके बैठ जाते हैं. एंड हम इन सारी चीज़ों को उनके लाइफस्टाइल से हटा नहीं सकते हैं, बिकॉज हमारा जो लाइफस्टाइल अभी का उसकी डिमांड है कि वो मोबाइल का यूज़ करें, वो लैपटॉप्स का यूज़ करें. बट अब उसको ओवरकम कैसे करना है, दैट इज़ द मेजर थिंग. फर्स्ट पहले देखते हैं कि इसकी वजह से प्रॉब्लम्स क्या आती हैं. प्रॉब्लम लाइक अगर ज़्यादा देर स्लाउच बैठता है बच्चा तो उसकी वजह से जो उसके डेवलपमेंट्स हैं, स्पाइनल डेवलपमेंट्स, बॉडी डेवलपमेंट्स, वो डिले रहेंगे, बिकॉज देयर इज द एबनॉर्मल प्रेशर ऑन द स्पाइन। सेकेंड थिंग, जब उसका पोस्चर लाइक दे आर सिटिंग लाइक दिस, टेढ़े होके बैठते हैं, दैट यू आर जस्ट डिस्कसिंग अबाउट द स्कोलियोसिस। सो बिकॉज ऑफ द स्कोलियोसिस उनमें क्या होगा, दे विल जनरेट अ पेन अराउंड द स्पाइन, पोस्चर टेढ़ा हो जाएगा। स्टार्ट में पता नहीं चलता है, बिकॉज यही लगता है कि बच्चा है, ये लगता है बच्चा है, ठीक है, हो जाएगा विद टाइम, बट नहीं, पेरेंट्स हैव टू लुक कि वो कितना टाइम वो बैठा है, स्पाइन की उसकी जो पोस्चर है वो कैसा है, कितना टाइम अपना फोन देखता है, क्या वो ब्रेक्स लेता है या नहीं लेता है इन बिटवीन। ठीक है, अगर हम ऑनलाइन क्लासेस कर रहे हैं, बच्चे गेम भी खेल रहे हैं, उस केस में पेरेंट्स मस्ट टेक केयर कि वो बच्चों को ब्रेक्स दें। Online class, they should come out.
And Dr. Saurabh, this would apply to, let's say, children of what age? Because a lot of times, especially in their early years, parents are bound to be a little easy on children, and the gadget use is also not all that much. So what age are we typically talking about? That one age bracket that is very crucial, wherein parents must, in a very polite manner, start checking their posture.
Okay. So let's talk about the age group. So पहले हम बात करते हैं 3 to 6 years of age. 3 to 6 years of age एक ऐसी एज है जिसमें बच्चा खड़े होना लग जाता है, बच्चा चलने लग जाता है, एंड दे कैन सिट कंफर्टेबली। उस पोस्चर में हमें बहुत ध्यान रखना चाहिए, बिकॉज वो डेवलपमेंट जो है हमारी बॉडी की, जिसको हम माइलस्टोन्स बोलते हैं इन मेडिकल लैंग्वेज, वो डिले हो जाते हैं उसकी वजह से। उस केस में हमने कोशिश करनी है कि बच्चों से जितने ज़्यादा हो सके हम बात करें, उनको किसी भी तरह के गेम्स में इन्वॉल्व करें। देन लेट्स टॉक अबाउट 6 to 10 years ऑफ एज। ये वो एज है जिसमें बच्चे अपने आप को एडजस्ट करते हैं विद देयर होम ऑल्सो एंड विद देयर स्कूलिंग ऑल्सो एंड विद देयर फ्रेंड्स ऑल्सो। सो वो बहुत ज़्यादा इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं कि मेरा जो फ्रेंड है वो इतने घंटे गेम खेलता है। कुछ बच्चे इन्फ्लुएंस हो जाते हैं कि मेरा जो फ्रेंड है वो एक यूट्यूबर है, या फिर वो यूट्यूबर से इन्फ्लुएंस्ड है। सो उस केस के अंदर पेरेंट्स मस्ट टेक केयर कि बच्चे को किसी ना किसी तरह के गेम में या स्पोर्ट में एटलीस्ट 2 hours इन अ डे दे शुड पुट। एंड अगर कुछ ऐसा है लाइक ऑनलाइन क्लासेस दे हैव टू अटेंड एंड दे हैव टू डू सम अदर थिंग्स ऑन द फोन, सो जस्ट मेक श्योर कि उनको 15 मिनट्स के ब्रैकेट या 20 मिनट्स के ब्रैकेट में वो करने के लिए बोलें। एंड नाउ इफ वी गो आफ्टर द एज ऑफ 10 to 20 years ऑफ एज, इस एज के अंदर जो है, इस एज में बच्चों को चाहिए कि वो खुद से इन चीज़ों का ध्यान रखें। चलिए मैं आपको एक एग्जांपल देता हूँ। इसका एक केस मुझे याद आ रहा है। अभी लास्ट मंथ आई वाज सीइंग अ चाइल्ड, उनके पेरेंट्स उन्हें मेरे पास लेके आए थे, एंड ही केम डायरेक्टली फ्रॉम द स्कूल एट आई थिंक 11 o'clock इन द मॉर्निंग। उन्होंने बोला कि मेरे बेटे को बैक में काफ़ी दर्द है एंड ये बैठ भी नहीं पा रहा। सो दे केम टू मी, हमने उनका MRI स्कैन कराया।
And how old was this child, Dr. Saurabh?
He was 13 years old.
Okay.
He was a 13 years old. He
So
was a
imagine
Korean
a 13-year-old
child.
complaining about back pain.
Yeah,
the sound
13
of
years
that is so
old.
scary.
एंड द स्केरी पार्ट वाज कि जो हमारा रिब केज है उसके पीछे की जो स्पाइन है वो बहुत स्टिफ होती है, बिकॉज वी हैव रिब केज टू सपोर्ट इट। बट उसके केस में रिब केज वाले एरिया से स्पाइन वाज कमिंग आउट, सो दैट वी कॉल्ड एज द D11 लेवल। एंड उसके साथ वहां पे डिस्क बल्ज ही वाज गेटिंग एट द एज ऑफ 13। आई हैव सीन द केसेस जिनकी एज 20, 21, 22 है, जो कॉलेज गोयर्स हैं, जो अभी स्कूल 12th उन्होंने जिन्होंने क्लियर किया है, दे आर गेटिंग स्पाइनल इश्यूज, डिस्क बल्ज दे आर गेटिंग, and when they visit the surgeons they are advising them for the surgeries for their betterment. But these are the things that parents को जिनको ध्यान रखना चाहिए, like मेरा बच्चा कितनी देर बैठता है, वो गैजेट्स कितनी देर देख रहा है, क्या वो किसी तरह की फिजिकल एक्टिविटी में इन्वॉल्व है या नहीं। So these are the things that parents should take care.
Okay, Dr. Saurabh, we'll come back to you in just a bit. Dr. Simon Thomas is through with us now. Good morning, Dr. Simon Thomas. Hope you're doing well. Dr. Simon, we just had a little bit of a conversation already with Dr. Saurabh, who took us through what is the right posture for children of what age brackets must parents watch out for essentially in maintaining or ensuring that kind of a correct posture. But let's get back to the story. Let's go back to the drawing board and really talk about the problem here. As someone who's looking at these cases very closely, what's your observation? How many people, parents are coming with their children to you and really complaining of their children getting a neck pain, a back pain, something in their shoulders not feeling right, and how much of that is linked to their spine and their spine health?
I think a very pertinent question, Christine. I think the patients that to come to me, children that to come to me, are in basically two age groups. The first is actually the 6 to 7 age group, when actually the children start to go to school. All of a sudden, from play school, they come on to actually the primary school, and when the children feel that the school bag is too heavy. They have to carry so much on their back, which is actually problematic. So sometimes children come with that, but that's also a minority. But I think the majority of children that I see are in basically the teenage group, the 11, 12, 13 years age group. There's a time when actually the body is growing, the bone size is growing, and the muscles sometimes are not able to catch up. Second thing is that posture is not exactly best, because they also have a mind of their own. Now they are into gadgets, and the parental control is actually going a little bit more off. And thirdly, these children are aware about their bodies. So now they say, सब बच्चे आके मुझसे बोलते हैं, डॉक्टर साहब मेरा neck के पीछे का जो area है वो that's a little prominent, and I feel that I'm a little stooped forwards. अब तक जो बच्चों ने कभी ध्यान नहीं दिया, they start complaining. So these are the two age groups in which children come to me. But then, having said that, I think these have been there for some time, and it's not, I would not say it is as alarming, but then definitely this is something which can be rectified if actually detected on time. And this does not require much. It does not require any surgery, it does not require any medicine. It just requires some personal postural hygiene. That's what I say.
Personal postural hygiene. Okay, great. So we'll start on that positive note, take this conversation forward a little bit. Dr. Thomas, tell us what kind of effect does a wrong posture then have on your neck, on your spine? Let's get a little bit into the science, but in a simple way, so people understand. Parents are more cautious, they're more careful in ensuring that their children are going about using gadgets the right way. Tell us a little bit about the science behind it. How does it really affect your spine, and how can it degenerate your spine, if at all, over the years?
See, I think on a very oversimplistic way, agar main bolu, so what happens? Your head is like a big apple, which is actually resting on the cervical spine, which is like a toothpick. So now, see, if the center of gravity of the apple is actually in the center of the toothpick, everything is balanced. The problem happens when the apple starts to tilt forward or backward. Then there's a tremendous strain on the cervical spine, or for the example that the toothpick that we took. Then what happens is that the muscles go into spasm. So if these children or people who undergo a bad posture, on a short-term basis, what they would have is basically what we call a cervical spondylosis, or pain in the neck, and spine area is actually they go into spasm. Sometimes children also come that वो class में बैठे-बैठे उनका गर्दन थोड़ा टेढ़ा हो गया है, अब वो ऐसे टेढ़े बैठ के देख रहे हैं. So that spasm actually happens in the short term. So usually parents come for that कि बच्चा बिल्कुल ठीक था और एकदम से the spine is actually in a little curved portion and they can't move around. And the parents get very panicky. But in the long term, what happens is that when there is chronic fatigue, it leads to actually, muscle pain. And that muscle pain can be distressing to children because they have to study, they have to concentrate on their extracurricular activities. That gets affected. So acutely they come with severe pain in which child is not able to go home. कई बार parents होता है कि बच्चा जानबूझ के तो नहीं कर रहा, easy making it up. But and it's so dramatic a presentation that they think that it is actually he was बिल्कुल सही सोया था, एकदम से morning में उठा तो उसको ऐसा हो गया. So they can't believe it. So, but this is true. This happens.
And that's a common problem. You can't blame the parents here either, because there are a lot of kids who complain about their tummy in the morning, not feeling well, a mild headache, because they don't want to go to school. But what you pointed out, Dr. Thomas, is so interesting. There was a time when students were feeling these kind of backaches, neck aches because of a heavy backpack. That story's changed, and how to actually these problems growing at an alarming rate because of how they're viewing their gadgets, how they're viewing television, for instance. Dr. Saurabh, if I can quickly come to you, since you spoke a little bit about what should be done, what's the right way to go about accessing your gadget, tell us a little bit about exercises as well. And at what age can parents ensure that their children start doing these basic exercises which will help them go about digital use and minimize the impact of the same?
Okay, so if we talk about like a age group, like पहले भी जो हम बात कर रहे थे 3 to 6 years of age group, उनके साथ parents should play with them. not to just put them into some kind of exercise routine. They just try to play with them. And if we go to the age group 6 to 10, 6 to 12 age group, so there are some simple things like they are sitting, the parents को just इतना ही करना है कि just उनको बोलो कि just खड़े हो जाओ and lift your hands up and just stretch it out, because पहले तो ये सारी punishments हमें स्कूल में मिलती थी, and that was the exercises also, तो हमें पता नहीं होता था, but nowadays it is very necessary part of the lifestyle. So उसमें they can stretch it out, they can just move the hands on the sideways, they can just go stretch their chest, and they can just move the head side by side. Rotation I will not suggest, because अगर वो spasm होगा वहाँ पे या कुछ issue होगा तो उसको increase कर सकता है. So we can just tell them कि just go with the neck sideways, up and down, some movements, take breaks, do breathing exercises. Most importantly for the children also, for the younger ones also, breathing exercise is the most important thing. So it will help to expand the lungs also, chest muscles will also work, neck muscles will also work. So the main things they should do, that is the breathing exercises, stretches, tadasans, and play with the 3 to 6 years children. Don't leave them with the gadgets, just try to play with them, try to spend time with them.
Don't look at gadgets as an escape route, you know. So for instance, they're not eating their meals, give them the gadget. We've seen a lot of parents do that because the children these days are also no less. Dr. Thomas, I also want to touch upon this one word. It's become a huge buzzword, which is tech neck. Is it a medically recognized word? Is it a buzzword still? Tell us a little bit about that condition. What is a tech neck? Because we're hearing about this so frequently, about how gadgets impact your posture, your neck, your spine, etc. And what are the challenges there exactly? How do you go about countering a tech neck situation for any child? This doesn't just apply to children, adults as much. We're as much glued to our television sets and digital gadgets.
Tech neck is not a medical terminology as of now, but I am sure that science is growing every day and medical books are being rewritten every day as we're talking. So the way which is coming in, I think tech neck will be definitely part of medical teaching and all. And the whole conglomerate of symptoms that not just children and adolescents face, but actually young adults also face, because we are into so much of technology now, so much of time into a small screen, and the screens actually are becoming smaller and smaller. So what majority of times happens is that even at your workplace and in the school, even now when I'm talking to you on the computer, my computer is way lower than what exactly. So if you can see, I'm also slouching a little down. So people who are doing this on a daily basis for 10 hours, 12 hours, actually this leads to a big problem. And they don't realize it initially, but they just say ki sham hote actually I'm fatigued, I don't feel like doing much, my neck is aching. And in children, sometimes the neck pains and the head pains are actually mistaken for a visual problem. So they actually undergo eye tests and things like that, because maybe iski aankh mein problem hai aur dekh nahi raha theek se isliye ho raha hai. But I think this is becoming a problem, and what we should actually do is that encourage children to lift up their screens and take don't slouch forwards, as you very rightly mentioned initially also, and make sure that your system or the screen in which you're working is actually at the height of the eye, and so that you are actually looking straight ahead and not down into the screen.
Okay, does that not also apply to then studying or reading books, for instance? So young students who are reading are also typically slouching or bending over. So how do you look at this overall? For how long can someone avoid reading, slouching, looking down? And this applies to, like I said, adults as well. Dr. Thomas, typically what is something that can be done? A lot of parents are heard saying or telling their children that, keep your back straight, keep your back against the wall or against your, bed support while you're viewing the television. They normally place the television at eye level, so the top of the TV is on eye level. All that can be done. But what about digital gadgets? What about books? How do you go about that?
You see, technically, I'm a very practical person. The more stringent we make it for children and people, they won't listen, and it will not be practically possible. So, however, let's go mid-path. What I would say is that raise the computer, raise the tablet a little light, but sometimes we all get tired, we want to lie down and read. I don't want to encourage that on national TV. I want to say that you actually should avoid that. But having said that, what is more practical is that every hour or so, you take a little break.
Yeah.
Take a stroll out, take a 5-minute stretching, and that helps. That helps in 2 ways. First of all, actually, this to all children who are watching this, your brain cannot assimilate your data for more than 1 hour at a stretch. Your concentration actually goes for a toss. So even if you're studying, especially people who are studying for entrances and all those exams, if you think that you will study 18 hours at a stretch, nothing is going to your brain. It will not register. So what you do is that 1 hour or so, take a little break out. You go out, do a little stretching out, take a 15-20 seconds, maybe 1 or 2 minutes break. The brain actually reboots, and that improves your not just the circulation in the muscles, improves your posture, but also increases your concentration, and your productivity will increase. So taking a break is a much better way than actually nagging the children, don't slouch. It becomes I just have a 19-year-old boy, so I know how it is. It is a constant struggle, and every time they see us, they say, oh, abhi aa gaye hain. He has come
100%.
But it is
In
not
fact,
only for the children, it is for the adults also.
Yeah.
Because we are seeing the patients, they are working on the MNCs. And उनको जब neck pain आ रहा है and the posture जो disturb हो रहा है, cervical lordosis they are decreasing and getting the neck spasms, headaches, migraines, and that one thing that you were just telling कि people are going to the eye specialist. They are saying कि pain is coming around the eyeball and the pain is going towards the ear. So definitely this is all related to your spinal posture, your spinal health, and that's why we calling it is nowadays as a tech neck.
yeah, but tech neck, if you just go by the symptoms, Dr. Saurabh, can one also reverse the entire damage that's already been done to your neck, to your spine? So whatever changes your body is internally seen as a result of the slouching or bending, forward bending, can that be reversed by certain exercises or a certain posture hygiene, as was pointed out by Dr. Thomas?
Not fully. Like if there is a disc is coming out, we cannot reverse it. But for some extent, अगर मेरी disc अगर वहाँ से if I take an example, अगर वो 1 mm it is coming out, I cannot put that 1 mm back. But कुछ part उसका I can put it back, and उसका जो impact जो आ रहा है spine पे, like it is disturbing your nerve roots, it is disturbing your muscles, it is disturbing your muscle strength. हम उनको ओवरकम कर सकते हैं विद सर्टेन एक्सरसाइजेज, पोस्चर चेंजेस एंड चेंजेस इन देयर लाइफस्टाइल. दैट इज द मेजर थिंग. इफ दे कैन नॉट डू द चेंजेस इन द लाइफस्टाइल, तो बाकी सारी चीजें, चाहे वो पोस्चर करेक्शन है, चाहे एक्सरसाइजेज हैं, वो कोई काम नहीं करती हैं.
Dr. Thomas said something very interesting earlier. He said that पहले लोग आते ही नहीं थे ये सब problems लेके, because children were busy playing outside, outdoors. There were no gadgets. I do remember our parents telling us, you're not going to get a phone, let's say till you're in college. But that's not an option with the parents of today's day and age, because all your classes happened online, especially through COVID. Dr. Thomas, one last word on what parents must watch out for in terms of signs. So, for instance, neck pain, shoulder pain, if their child is talking about some problem they're facing, what are the signs they need to watch out for, which must give them a signal that this has got something to do with their spine getting affected in a way? Dizziness, headaches, what is it?
I think mainly children actually complain of inability to study for a long time. They say whenever reading, the pain starts. Sometimes it got a nerve impingement. It sometimes goes to shoulders and arms also. That also leads to, that also is a sign. If a neck pain is there, I would say you exercise and medicines would help, and maybe some posture change. But if sometimes it is going to your arms and there is some tingling sensation to the arms or the legs, that is a sign that there may be some nerve impingement. I would not say it is alarming, but it is definitely worth a visit to the doctor or a specialist where you can see. And if your child is actually generally taking less interest in going out, so sometimes what also I wanted to make out that because of, it's not just technique alone, because these children are less exposed to sunlight, they are playing less, the stimulation in the growth period in the body is very less. So body is great. Why do you go to gym? You actually do exercises so that your body becomes, it swells up, the muscles become, great. If you're actually not exercising much, you have vitamin deficiency. Sometimes there is hypothyroidism also is a big problem. So the child is gaining weight, there is neck constant aches and pains. These all things also should be kept in mind. A nutritional deficiency or a hormonal problem also should be kept in mind. I'm not saying children have it. It is a very rare problem to have. But even if somebody in 1 in 100 has it, it is our duty to detect that. And because it can be very nicely treated and the result is going to be amazing and wonderful.
And not to
With
sound
just
like an
with one
alarmist.
note that these problems are there. But I would say to parents also that to millions of years, the human body has actually evolved. So we will find a way out of this also.
Okay, love the optimism you're leaving us with this morning. Thank you so much, Dr. Thomas, Dr. Saurabh. It was lovely having you on board to take this conversation forward, and really something that I'm sure parents are taking note of, something that they're going to be inculcating in their children's routine.